permission to vote. You can't hinder us from getting the right to vote, and then we get it and tell us who to vote for. Shame on you and your daddy and your granddaddy and your great-granddaddy and all the black women they raped. Shame on you.
You know, there are three gods, little g gods, that are reigning supreme in the black church. You have the God of Blackness, you have the God of the Matriarchy or the black woman, and the God of politics. This was sparked from an email I received from Corlin Leonard, a subscriber. Shout out to you, Corlin. I appreciate you watching and you sending me this video. So this video that sparked this came from Pastor Charlie Dates. He's a progressive pastor in Chicago. He's a black pastor. He's one of these church Negroes that run these churches, one of these church plant pastors who all they do is talk about ethnicity, talk about oppression and oppressor. Because you have to understand something. Most of the black church, most of their theology comes from this man named James Cone. James Cone was the founder of Black liberation theology, which is essentially started from liberation theologies, which started from like a Marxist thought. Same thing with critical race theory that started from critical theory, which was a Marxist ideology from Karl Marx. So you understand, if it's from Karl Marx, then it's demonic. If it's from Karl Marx, it's meant to divide people. And so what Black liberation theology does, it divides people into this oppressor dynamic. And so most black churches, most black preachers are preaching this because they're learning this when they go to these seminary schools. That is what they're being taught in these seminary schools. And so therefore, when you have these black preachers come out with this ideology that's based upon a demonic influence, which is Marxism, then you have the introduction of these idols, or what I call the three gods in the black church. The first one is Blackness, the God of Blackness. The God of Blackness is the first God. And this Pastor Charlie Dates is evident of this God of Blackness.
Shame on you and your daddy and your granddaddy and your great-granddaddy and all the black women they raped. Shame on you. Shame on you for not giving a damn about how people can live in the world but want to condemn and damn us for standing up for ourselves. Shame was largely white evangelical churches that has propped up the most immoral president that we have had in living memory as the golden child of the church. And then they had the audacity to be quiet when Laquan McDonald was murdered, when George Floyd and Breonna Taylor were shot down. Some of them have said to me, I ain't done nothing racist, Charlie. I've not said anything wrong. Look, I'm over a big Bible institute, and I've had to say to them in return, yeah, you might not have said nothing wrong, but you ain't said nothing right either.
Pretty much he hits all three of these little G's, but I'm going to speak to the God of Blackness. You see how he has this shirt here. He has this shirt there. The shirt that shows the colors of Juneteenth. The red, the black, and the green. See, a lot of these people in the black church, a lot of these preachers, they worship the God of Blackness. And this is how you know they worship the God of Blackness. If you attend a church and the pastor wears this in the pulpit, or the pastor wears their sorority or fraternity colors in the pulpit, or you see the pastor wearing kente cloth or something like that in the pulpit, then you know that that church worships at the altar of the God of Blackness. That church is a church that has the God of Blackness as an idol in that church. Because most of these traditional black churches, like this guy, are these progressive black churches that believe in the social justice, the social gospel, which is Marxist from its roots. They always talk about the black people that were killed by police. They always talk about the black people that were killed by authority. But they never talk about the black people that were shot by other black people. They never talk about the unaliving of children, black children, by Planned Parenthood and by the government. They never talk about how the black family has been destroyed by the government, by the Marxist and liberal policies that the Democratic Party has pushed. They never talk about that. because the God of blackness would not allow them to talk about that. See, the God of blackness only sees issues when white people do something to black people. That's the only time the God of blackness rears his ugly head. But these people worship at the altar of the God of blackness, and this dude is evident of that. And so then when you move on past the God of blackness, now you have the God of the matriarchy, or the God of the black woman, or the God of the woman has the right to make decisions over her own body.
Women have rights too. I don't have a right to tell you that. And somebody said, well, some super religious person who got a bunch of sin in their life said, well, abstinence is the answer. Well, you didn't abstain. And what kills me is people out there protesting already had one. You had one in your younger years.
Turned back the hands of time and declared war on women in this nation. I wanted us to stand resolutely to say to this nation that if America was authentically pro-life, then they would immediately abolish the death penalty. If they were really pro-life, then they would put more money into Head Start programs. If they were pro-life, they would seek to cure the opiate addiction in this nation. If they were pro-life, they would make sure that teachers feel safe in their schools. If they were pro-life, there would be stricter measures about gun control in this nation. If it was pro-life, we would not have to deal with food insecurity. But I stand with now the living matriarch of the movement, Maxine Waters, who said they have declared war on 32 million women in this nation. And one thing about a woman, when she is focused, she is not going to stop until she gets what she needs. We stand, but we realize that this is not just a woman's issue. Unless I don't understand how pregnancy works, men have to extend their voices as well. And so we speak to this nation to declare that New Birth stands with the amazing women of this church, of this community, and of this country, that women have the right to have authority over their body. And it should not be legislated by men in Washington, D.C. Over this room, would you do me a favor? Would you celebrate the women around you who are competent enough to make decisions about their bodies, decisions about their life, and decisions about their future? We're praying steadfastly because what we are seeing is racism rearing its head again. With this measure that has just taken place, black baby infant mortality is going to rise by 30%. And hence we cover the lives of our mothers, of our pregnant mothers, and our unborn babies. I need you to do me a favor, please. While last Sunday was Father's Day, today we stand in the gap for mothers and for emerging mothers. I need you to do me a favor, please, because I need you to be mindful that the weapons of our warfare are not carnal, but they are mighty unto God for the pulling down of strongholds. There is something satanic afoot in Washington, D.C. Today, proudly, we dedicate babies in our church. They're coming at this time because we believe that children are the future. But we also believe that mothers have the right to elect where it is that they are in the season and the stages of their life. And they should not be criminalized for making decisions that will best suit them for where it is that they are.
And you see that this dude, Jamal Bryant, was saying those things about abortion on a day of child dedication. How sick is that? And how twisted is that? He is talking about a woman's right to choose on the day of baby dedications, knowing that a lot of black babies are not going to see that day of dedication because of his support for the unaliving of children or the mutilation of children, how they're promoting a lifestyle that doesn't lead to reproduction. But again, that is the God of the matriarchy. That is the God of the black woman. And see, that has happened when the government kicked out the man, when the government made it more appealing, when they incentivized the destruction of the black family. They incentivized and elevated the black woman at the detriment of the black man. They elevated the matriarchy. And that's why this election with Kamala Harris is so hard for so many people in the black community, because it is bumping up against that God of blackness. It is bumping up against that God that is present within most black churches. So people are struggling. A lot of black Christians are struggling with that because that God of the matriarchy, the God of black women, will not allow them to go against it. They're struggling with that. Then you have the last God, the God of politics, or the God of the Democratic Party.
I said this on last Sunday, that this is the most crucial and critical election, at least of my lifetime, that is coming up. It is something we cannot play with. We cannot play with. I tell people all the time, this is not about history. It's about destiny. And the destiny will happen to make history. Now, I can't tell y'all what to do. You know the rules. I did have a call this week with one of the lawyers from the Harris-Walz campaign and told me what I could tell y'all what I'm going to do. I just can't tell y'all what to do. So I can tell y'all what, I know what I'm going to do. Ain't no doubt in my mind what I'm going to do. The only walls that I'm talking about are not the walls he lied about putting up. It's the walls we going to put in as vice president. And the Harris that I choose, me, not Bishop Rudolph Waldo McKissick Jr., born September 24th, 1965, and is a citizen of the United States. That's what I'm going to do. I cannot tell you as a church what to do. I cannot tell you anything like that. But I'm telling you, it is the choice between progress and petulance. I don't need a petulant 80-year-old child trying to run the country I love. Now, I'm going to say this and then I'm going to let Pastor introduce our guest. For those who might be saying, I don't see how you can support anybody that would be in favor of killing our children. That's a argument y'all don't want to have. Because if y'all want to go to the Bible and claim that a person doesn't support the Bible, he's an adulterer. That's in the Bible. He's a bigot. That's in the Bible. He's a liar. That's in the Bible. And y'all don't support our children when they get out the womb. So don't go to the Bible to try to tell me why I ought not support somebody, because your candidate breaks sins every day. And secondly, the United States ain't a church, it's a country. This ain't about discipleship, it's about citizenship. Now in here, that might be a different story. But in the country, every citizen gets rights. That's just my little take, because I'm so sick of folk on social media. How in the world you supporting when I can't support anybody who kills babies? Oh, I almost said bad word. You supporting a candidate and a party that kills our children, that wants to do away with health care, that wants to do away with mothers having the money they need for daycare so they could go back to work. You want to do away with all of that? Please hold your righteous indignation and your one-trick pony for somebody who don't know the Bible. Because that ain't a dialogue y'all want to. Okay, I'm done. I'm sorry. Y'all know I've been out for like 8-9 weeks. I got pent up stuff inside. white churches set the stage for Jim and Jane Crow segregation. And y'all, they have children who are still doing the dirty deed of toxic theology. I saw yesterday that one Donnie Swaggart, who is the son of Jimmy Swaggart, had the nerve from his perch of privilege and prejudice to stand up on a Sunday and call out the black church. Wait, what? He called out the black church. He said, when you support her, didn't even call Kamala Harris by name, but said when you support her, you are supporting sin and evil and supporting all kinds of stuff. Y'all, I'm tripping as this white boy is calling out the black church. Now, let me park here parenthetically and hope that old Donnie tunes in. Donnie, come here for just a second, because first of all, the fact that there is a black church is a judgment on white Christianity, because there would be no black church had the white church not been more white than they are a church. Oh, I'm on one tonight. I'm letting y'all know that right now. And Donnie, my sisters and brothers, had the nerve to call out the black church because in his mindset, we're supporting Kamala Harris while the white church is supporting Agent Orange, because somehow Agent Orange is the candidate of their God. I get that, because their God ain't my God. My God is the God who showed up in Exodus on the side of the oppressed. My God is the God of divine justice. My God is the God that so loved the world that he gave his only begotten son. You see, God loves the world. I guess who's in that world? Palestinians are in that world. Congolese are in that world. Haitians are in that world. Gay folk are in that world. The LGBTQIA community is in that world. God so loved the world. And if you don't love the world like God loves the world, to hell with you, Donnie.
And this man is so far in the tank for the Democratic Party. See, what happened during the civil rights movement is when the civil rights movement, after Dr. King passed away and Jesse Jackson and all of those people that were leading during that time, they decided to partner with the Democratic Party. They decided to side up with the government instead of pursuing the true equity within the black community, pursuing the true equality within the black community when it comes to resources, when it comes to financial opportunities, when it comes to economic opportunities. They decided to partner with the government, and they saw the government as their source instead of God being their source. And so what happened? The God of politics came in. The Democratic Party capitalized on that, and they made inroads in the black community to the point that now 90% of black people vote Democrat, because they've been told by their church plans, by the church Negroes, by the leaders, you must vote Democrat. And see, that is what has happened to the black church. You have these three gods, the God of blackness, the God of matriarchy, the God of politics, or the God of the Democratic Party. Those three gods are running most traditional black churches. And until people recognize that, and until these idols are torn down, because God said he will have no other gods before him. And so therefore, all these churches are operating outside of the purview of God, the God of the Bible, Jehovah. They're operating outside of his purview. His hands are off of these churches because these churches are worshiping those three gods. That is what's happening. And that is what's evident right now. Why do you see so many black pastors are agitated about what Donnie Swaggart had to say about the black church? Because his comments bump up against the God of blackness, the God of the matriarchy, and the God of the Democratic Party. Those three gods are agitated. And so therefore, these people are having to speak out because that God is stirring them up to speak out. It is spiritual warfare taking place right before your eyes. So you have to choose. Are you going to be on the Lord's side, or are you going to be on the side of the gods of blackness, the God of the matriarchy, and the God of politics, or the God of the Democratic Party? I choose to be on the Lord's side because I'm not a victim. And I believe you're not a victim because we are empowered for greatness.